What's up everybody? Today we're going to be going over the specs of my small block Ford 347 stroker. And all the goodies that are in it, how it got built, all the custom parts to it, and all the fun stuff that makes a whole lot of power. So I'm going to play the intro real quick and we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to put a picture of the actual build sheet on the video so you can see what I'm talking about. So we're just going to start off from, like, I think the most essential parts, I guess you'd call it. I don't know. So let's just start with the block. It's an R302 block by Ford Motorsport. So it's a 4-bolt splayed. So that means there's in the 3 middle main caps are 4-bolt mains, and the 2 outside ones are 2-bolt mains. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself later. But so I got the R302 block, and so I was thinking about getting a Dart SHP or even an Iron Eagle. I almost bought an Iron Eagle, but I think it's like $4 grand, and I didn't want to spend $4 grand. But when I took it to my engine builder, he's like, I have a Ford Motorsport R302 in the back. If you want it, you can buy it, and I'll give you a deal. So that's kind of how that happened. And then when I read about the R302 block, it's like, it's really strong. So what I've read is people are like running over 1,500 horsepower, which is amazing. I mean, that's just what I read on a forum. I could be wrong, but that's what I read. So I know the block is really strong, and that's kind of why I went with it. After research, after the deal, it worked out. I even almost used a stock block and stroked it, and I'm glad I didn't do that because those blocks split and I would have put too much power to it and it just wouldn't have worked out well. So R302 block, that's the block I have. And so on the build sheet you'll see it says small block Ford 86 Mustang street pump gas turbo 6 to 8 pounds of boost. And at the time I was going to stick to 6 to 8 pounds of boost, and it still might be enough to get to 700. I don't know how to do the math correctly, but it should put anywhere from 450 to 500 wheel horsepower on the ground. And with 6 to 8 pounds of boost with like a 78 millimeter or 76 millimeter turbo, I think it's close to the 700 mark that I'm shooting for. So it might still just be 6 to 8 pounds. So, and technically this is a 348 cubic inch motor. So it has the 4.125 bore, so the big bore, but it's a 331 stroker. So it has the 3.25 stroke like a 331, but the big bore. And I don't know why it's not still a 347, but he's saying it's 348, and I believe him. So it's a 348 stroker motor. So it was the selling point for it was that it'll spin faster because it's got the 331, but you're getting those extra cubes, and that's kind of why we went with this instead of a 363. And because I've heard there's problems with the 347 crank, actually it breaks stuff. I don't know exactly what it was. I just know there's a problem with it, and the 331 safer, and it's a little bit better. So that's kind of what we talked about, and then what we went with it. Plus, another thing is he already had the stuff, and it was easy. He had custom pistons, HB ROMs, Eagles. We're gonna get into that. So, but that's what it is. It's the 4.125 bore, 3.25 stroke, and it has the 348 cubic inches, and it's set to 9-to-1 compression. It's totally built for a turbo. This engine is 100% built for a turbo. Alright, let's get into the crank. So the crank is an Eagle 4340 forged steel 3.25 stroke, heavy metal. I don't know what heavy metal means. I just know it's forged and it's really strong and it's Eagle, so you know it's a good crank. So that's the crank that I have. So then let's get right into rods. And rods, I have the Eagle 4340 forged steel 5.4 H-beam. So those are really strong too. This engine's overbuilt by far. It could probably handle 1,000 horsepower, I think. He said it could handle. So one day if you see me with 1,000 horsepower, it's because I turned up the boost and blew up my T5. And then the pistons are, this is Pettis Performance. I didn't say this at the beginning, but this engine was built by Pettis Performance in Hesperia, California. If you want their contact info, I'll leave it in the video. So if you want to talk to them about building your engine, you can there you go. I'll leave it all in the description so you can see it. And I am in no way sponsored by them, even though I should say something. But they do build really good engines, and they have a great reputation in Southern California. So we've been using them since before I was born. So Pettis is a great machine shop. I just thought I'd throw that out there real quick. And you can read all, I'm not going to go over bearings and stuff because you can just read it, but I will put it on there. So just all the bearings, rod bearings, main bearings, all those kind of things, and you can see everything's ARP, by the way. So my oil pump, oil pickup, and the pan, I think those are all important. I'm running a Milidon 31125. It's a big 7-quart pan that should keep my motor all oiled up, and I can waste a whole bunch of money on oil, but it looks really cool. It's that anodized gold looking thing, and it's giant. So he'd kind of, when it came to that kind of stuff, I just let him take the wheel because I didn't, it's an oil pan, I don't know, but he has a deal with them, with Milidon, and they worked something out and they got me the pan, so that was cool. So that's what I got with that. Alright, so the intake manifold, I got an Elbrock, and he puts the part number 29215, and that is, it's the Victor Jr. EFI. I think it's Victor Jr. I'll correct myself if I have to, but it's the EFI version of the carb style intake, and I'll be using an elbow, which is a 3848. I got a low profile elbow, and that's what I went with. I wish I would have got the Holley elbow because it has vacuum ports on it, so what I have to do is run a spacer with a vacuum port, and then I have to put my IAC into it too if I want it, and I should have went with the Holley elbow instead of the Elbrock elbow. I think it was just, Holley made a better deal with that. So, alright, we'll go to the next page. Oh, and also, with that elbow, I'm running a AccuFab 90mm throttle body. We want all the air, right? So, alright, so now let's get into the block. So, Ford Motorsport R302, this is, I mean, you can read all of this if you want to, but this is definitely specific, everything that's in this motor, how it was done, all the cool stuff. It's an 8.2 deck. I don't know if I said that, but it's an 8.2 deck. It's not a 351, it's not a 9.5. The one thing I don't think it says is this is a zero balance crank, so my flywheel, my harmonic balancer, it's all internally balanced, so it should be able to rev a little bit faster, make more RPMs. This motor's supposed to run to like over 7,000 RPM is my shift point, so that's how they built it. That's what they told me it was good, and they're a lot smarter than I am, so I'm definitely going to listen. Alright, so let's get into the pistons. They're Pistons CP and the number 56194 custom pistons. They are dished at 0.110 deep and 0.19 net volume measured. So yeah, the dish is 0.110 deep. And if you, like I said, I'm gonna try to get through this because if I started talking about everything, it would take me all day to get through it. But if you want to read it, I will have all the pages up on the screen so you can read them as you're following along with me. So, but those are the pistons. They're custom pistons that the Pettis Performance ended up dealing with CP, and they made their own. So specifically for this engine and the application. So that was really cool. The rings, again, they are custom rings, and all the specs are on here. It's gapped. It's ready to rock. It's a comp camshaft, and it's custom from Pettis. The oil system, again, is Milidon, and yeah. All right, next page. All right, so this is the cam page. And this is specific to me. This is exactly what I have in my car. This is a custom cam. If you call Comp Cams and tell them your specific application, they will give you a custom cam. Pettis is really good, and they know what they want. So they actually told that you could Comp Cams what they actually wanted, and this is what I got. So it has a huge lobe separation for the turbo. I think it's 116. Yeah, so the lobe separation is 116. It has a 70-degree overlap. And okay, so let's just go intake and exhaust. So intake, the 0.05 duration is 246 degrees, and the 0.2 duration is 166 degrees. So, and then the exhaust side, the 0.05 duration is 251, the 0.2 duration is 171. There you go. So, and then you can, like I said, you can just look at everything you want to see on here, and then go from there. But yeah, cam specs kind of go over my head. I like when he was asking me, or when I talked to him, I was just like, I don't know. Please just make it. I know like lobe separation, and I know choppy lobe or small lobe separation is choppy, high lobe separation is smooth, and that's all I know. So he kind of did it, but you can look and see exactly what you want to know on this spec, and there you go. This is what I will be running, and you'll be able to see the power I make, what turbo, what everything. This is something I've been wanting on YouTube because I keep looking at people's pages and like trying to figure out, and everybody says one thing, but I want like actual numbers. So my video is going to show you the actual numbers start to finish, so you'll see exactly how my engine was built and just all the good things that was put into it, how I put everything into it, and then what the power makes, how the power band is, and it's just a specific thing that you can look at and apply it to yourself, because that's kind of what I wanted when I was looking for parts to buy, and I know people out there would probably be the same. And I didn't like the mentality is just buy a bunch of crap and see what happens. It's a lot of money. Alright, I have AFR 185s, and I know I probably should have went with like a 205, but it's going to be NA for like 3-4 months, and I wanted to be able to drive it NA, so the 185s just appealed to me a little bit more, and it's really hard to outflow an AFR head. So, and with 700, I think I'll get really quick spool up with the smaller head, so that's kind of why I went with it. But that was my reasoning. I don't know if it's right, I don't know if it's wrong, but that was my reasoning. So that's what we're going to go with, but AFR 185s is the head that I have on it right now. Oh, they're 185 heads with a 58 cc combustion chamber. I forgot to say that. Rocker system is the Comp 1632, which is a cool system. I even looked into it myself, and that it's a really cool lifters. They're really cool. The spark plugs I will be running are Autolite AR 3934s. I read a lot of good things about them. People get 15 more horsepower by running these spark plugs. So I got them. They're up on the bench. They're ready to go. And he says minimum 91, but we're going to be running corn through this car. Corn, everybody. Corn. Get that sweet, nasty smell and shoot fire and flames. So it'll be fun. And that's the end of the build sheet. I'm probably leaving things out, but you'll be able to read the paper and see exactly what's on here and what you want to know, because there's so much in here I don't even know how to go over it all. And this video is probably only going to be like a 10-minute video because I just kind of went over everything so you see what's going on. If you have any questions about the build or anything to it, what turbo, what setup, this, that, and the other, I am more than happy to answer all of your questions. I always answer my comment section, so leave any kind of comments you have. Okay, we've made it to the end of the video. I want to thank you everyone for the support. We just hit 100 subscribers. Well, actually, while I'm recording this, it's 99, and it's making me crazy. But we're almost to 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. It means everything to me that in 2 months I was able to hit 100, and so now 1,000. Let's get there. Let's get this thing growing, everybody. So thank you again for watching my channel, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. So on Sunday, so Sunday I will be having the engine pulling video of this bad boy. So we are going to get that stock pig motor out that is just burning all the oil in the world and shooting out blue smoke everywhere, and we're gonna get rid of it, get the new motor mounts in. We might paint the engine bay. I think we will paint the engine bay just to make it a little bit prettier. I don't know if I'm not gonna take it to a shop, but I might buy a gun and really paint it because I'm OCD like that. So who knows? But that will be on the Sunday video of me pulling the motor and the steps I took to get there. So tune in on Sunday if you want to see it. Hopefully I don't hurt myself, because that usually happens. I usually hurt myself. But okay, thanks again, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Alright, so I know I'm reading something wrong, and now that I think about it, I think I read the cam specs wrong. But we're not going to talk about that. And plus, I don't understand all of it, and I don't want you guys to know that. So that's where I'm at.